Oh, do you know what? I got up this morning, I went to brush my teeth with my electric toothbrush. Oh, yes. We've only got the best gadgets in this house, you know, dear. My electric toothbrush. And it was a little bit, how can you put it? It was a bit wimpy. It was all very sad, really. My poor electric toothbrush appears to be running out of electricity. Don't you hate that? Don't you absolutely hate that? I bet you've done that before, haven't you, eh? Got an electric toothbrush at home. You switch it on and you're thinking, oh, that doesn't sound very powerful today because you haven't plugged it in. And last night, clearly, I hadn't recharged my electric toothbrush. It goes along the same lines as if you're living with someone and you get up in the morning and you make your tea or your coffee and the other person in the house has already finished the milk. Oh, that is a cardinal sin in my book. If you do that in my house, you will go straight to hell, I'm afraid. Straight to the depths. I've got echo, hang on. Straight to the depths of hell. Oh, does that work or not? Perhaps not. Oh, hang on. Just a minute. Hello? Does that work? Oh, I don't know. I don't understand this equipment either. God knows how you do. Yes, my electric toothbrush is almost flat. Terrible. I had to manually move my hands up and down in my mouth. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse here. It really is. I don't think I can afford to plug in my electric toothbrush. I really don't. Has that happened to you? What is the worst thing? You know, when you get up in the morning, here's something for you to join in with. When you get up in the morning, all right? Whatever you do first thing in the morning, and we don't want any smutty comments, please. This is a family programme. I've told you before. No smutty comments. But when you get up in the morning, what is, in your book, one of the worst things, or a few of the worst things, that can go wrong at that time of the morning? Perhaps you're lucky enough to be in the bed with someone. I remember that time. About 2 years ago, since someone came home with me and slept in my little bed. Ever since then, it's just been me and the sheets. Not even a teddy bear in my bed. There was, but I thought, no, Chris. I decided when I got to 45, I was too old for a teddy bear. So now it's just me and the sheets. Even the cat is not allowed in the bedroom due to asthma. Which actually hasn't been a problem for months now. No asthma. Isn't it funny how it comes for a while and then it disappears? Anyway, come on, guys and ladies. What is the worst thing that can go wrong first thing in the morning to you? Do join in by email. Hello, welcome along. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk, our 3 times a week talk show. Contact the show by email anytime. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, sometimes people write to me and say, oh, I know it was a few shows ago, but I hope you don't mind me bringing it up. No, not at all. You go back as far as you want, my darlings. We've been doing this show since October 2005. The videos we've been doing since February 2008. You can go back as far as you want and bring up an old subject. You can even look at my pictures as they were taken in October 2005 and see how young and gorgeous I was then, and now how it's been a long downhill thing ever since. Dare I tell you this piece of information last night? There was me and my mate Tom, who's 42, and we were standing, I was DJing somewhere in Clapham. I was DJing at a place in Clapham, the Two Brewers, okay? And this person came up, who we know, and we both quite liked him. So we both moved in. We pounced. How old was this person? Or much younger than us, about 30, about 28, 30. So I chatted him up and he chatted him up, and eventually he was interested in my mate Tom. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? And do you know what he said? Do you know what he said? You're too old. Go on, laugh if you want to. I don't care. Don't you worry about me. Oh, hang on. What am I doing here? 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. I've got the pretty flashing lights. There we are. We like to have the pretty flashing lights. He said I was too old. That's it. Do you know what that's like when people say that to you? It's like a knife being pushed deep in between your lungs in your back and twisted hard. Evil, evil people. They hate me. They all hate me. So another one has got away. Another one. Too old, they said. There's only 4 years difference between us. Mind you, he does look younger, and I'm wondering if that's the secret. We once again come around to the subject of cosmetic surgery, don't we? Huh? Do you think a little needle here and a little needle there and have some of that poison bumped into my face? Oh, I saw this extreme makeover program the other day. Oh, and what some people go through for all that. There was a particular lady I remember, and she had a lot done to her face, but one of the things she had done was her teeth. Now, this seems to be gaining momentum around the world. People having their teeth whitened or something done to them. Anyway, this woman decided to have her teeth done, and she had veneers fitted. Apparently, they take a mould. You know, like when you're a child and you go to the dentist, and they take those moulds, don't they? I always quite liked those. When I was a child, I had sticking out teeth, like buck teeth. Yeah. What's up, Doug? I had sticking out teeth. They did used to call me Bucktooth. Don't laugh. They did used to call me Bucktooth at school. That was one of my many nicknames. Another one was Bender. It's good to be able to laugh at yourself, boys and girls. It's good to be able to laugh at all my classmates that are probably doing now boring, mundane jobs. I'm not saying some of them are badly paid. Some of them have probably got really good jobs working in such interesting places like banks, council offices, members of parliament. Such interesting jobs. And here I am chatting away to you. I think I got the better end of the stick, don't you? The better deal. Anyway, I used to go to the dentist when I had my sticking out teeth, and now and again they would have to take a mould of my mouth, which consisted of this kind of metal thing, right? And they would fill it with some sort of substance, almost a bit like rubber. And then when it was nearly set, I think, they will put it in your mouth, like one at the top and one. Did they used to do them both at the same time or one at a time? I can't remember now. I think they did them one at a time. First of all, they do your top bit or your bottom bit or the other way around. Doesn't matter anyway. And they'd put this thing in your mouth and they'd push it up so that all your teeth was surrounded by this substance that was in this thing in your mouth. Have you had that done as well? And he would hold it there for a few minutes until this stuff started kind of setting. Although, you know, not like concrete, dear. Otherwise you wouldn't get the thing out your mouth again, would as you pull it out, it'd take half your head away with it as well. Maybe that's not a bad idea for me, because with half my old face missing, perhaps people will fancy me again. Alone in this big world, all of me and my tomato plants and my cat. That's all there is. So, and when it was set, and he used to take it out, and it would, and it was the most marvellous sensation when he used to pull this thing off your teeth and out of your mouth. Very, very strange. Did you have one of those? Anyway, so this woman in the, whatever it was in the... Oh, can I just blow my nose? Just a minute now. Oh, dear. I've only got the tiniest piece of tissue in my pocket today as well. Oh, excuse me. That's better. And she had this mould taken, and they made a plaster cast thing of it, or whatever they do. And then made the veneers to match her teeth, right? And this woman, the veneers, they kind of I don't know, they kind of slide over the teeth, don't they? And when it's all finished, you have very nice looking teeth. Although, to be honest, they didn't look too bad to me in the first place. And so that's it. Now, I suppose one would expect a small amount of discomfort over a short period of time. Anyway, apparently, well, not apparently, according to this woman, she had great pain in her mouth for nearly a year. And the dentist kept saying, don't worry, it will settle down. And I think it did settle down in the end, but she had to take painkillers and all this business, all for a nice set of teeth. Honestly, they weren't that bad in the first place. So remember that if you're going to have your teeth done or having veneers or anything like that put on them, do be aware of that. I mean, there's a lot of pain to go through, an awful lot of pain to go through. Really is. My friend, I did tell you a long time ago the story of my friend who had his teeth whitened. Now, with this thing, a similar thing, I believe, with a mould on it. And they put it in his mouth for a certain period of time, took it off, and that was it. And he said, number one, afterwards, he noticed that his gums had receded slightly. Right, due to whatever this acid stuff that they put on there. And number two, he said, after would you call it an operation? No, not really. After the procedure, he said, you're unable to eat potatoes or drink tea or drink coffee, anything that might stain them for a period of time. He says it's awful. And they are as sensitive as hell, very hard to eat anything. That cost him £500, and he says he doesn't think they look any different. £500, dear. It's a lot of money, isn't it? He said he wished he'd never had them done because they were so sensitive afterwards. So I wonder, have you got any dentistry stories like that, please? Let me know. My email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I've got to go to the dentist. I haven't been for 6 months now. I must go to the NHS dentist I go to now. I did have a private one, but it was costing an awful lot of money to go to that private dentist. So I started going to the NHS one. When was that? That must have been last, I think back in January, actually, was it? January, something like that. So time for a visit to the hygienist and the dentist. But more important than that, have I put it? Oh, yes, I have now put my electric toothbrush on charge. Don't worry. So later on tonight, just before I go to work DJing somewhere, I should be able to brush my teeth, and once again, they will be completely free of all bacteria and viruses. Yes. My sister, Sharon, she lives up in Woodhall Spa in Lincolnshire. She had a bit of a problem with her tooth. Poor old soul she is too. Mind you, I'm not surprised the amount of chocolates and sweets she shoves in her mouth 24 hours a day. Apparently she was at home the other night and her crown dropped out. Yes, crown dropped out. Is that something they put over the teeth? It's sort of kind of a little bit like a veneer, but I think it goes over the top of your teeth. I haven't got any in here. I have perfect teeth in my head, thank you very much. I have mercury fillings, which is probably why I'm a little bit mad. That's the answer, I think, to that. It's got to be the mercury fillings. That's why I'm like, that's why I'm like this. Blah, blah, blah. Who is it? Poor old soul. Now, my sister, I've gone on her for a couple of years now because she doesn't go to the dentist. And she comes out with this excuse, oh, there isn't one near me. I'm like, well, there's no dentist near you. Well, there must be one near you. Oh, yeah, but you have to travel miles. I said, well, you go miles to do your shopping, don't you? She said, yeah. I said, well, why don't you fit it in with a day out to the shops? Won't take you long. She hasn't been to the dentist for years. All the children, they come up with this cock and ball story of making an excuse that there are no dentists nearby. It's shocking, dear. Shocking. Well, she soon found one when the crown dropped out, didn't she? Oh, yes. She found an NHS dentist, and she's on the phone to me right while she's on the way, because apparently once this crown had dropped off, the tooth that it came off of was extremely sharp and kept cutting her tongue. Well, it must be awful. You get all ulcers and things like that. So, you know, you must go to the dentist, boys and girls. It's very important. It really is. Anyway, so her tongue was being cut up, so she had to go. Eventually, she did find one, and she's driven there, and they did the job. She took the crown with her, which incidentally was a gold crown. I don't know where she got the money for. Actually, I think it was done on the NHS years ago. She's had this crown in her mouth for years. A gold crown, dear. So she went to the dentist thinking that it would be a simple task to just glue it back on again. I mean, I could have done that with a small tube of super glue. It's not hard. Trouble is, you know, you've got to be so careful with that super glue. You get a bit on your tongue and it could stick to the top of your mouth then. That's the problem. I mean, can you imagine if my tongue got stuck to the top of the bottom of my mouth? I wouldn't be able to talk to you. Wouldn't that be a terrible, terrible thing? I'll just be here trying to think what is the tongue coming off. I'm sort of sounding like a Donald Duck. Donald Duck. Poor old soul she is. So she went to the dentist, and apparently the crown and tooth have broken in such a way that the dentist cannot do it, and she would have to go into hospital and be knocked out. Well, I mean, that's not such a bad thing, is it, Sharon? You know, it'd give your family a bit of a break from your big mouth, my darling. Oh, I'd like to see my sister knocked out. I really would. Just asleep for a while. And then, shall we wake her up now, Mr. Reardon? No, leave her like that for a while. Oh, I'm sorry. That's really awful, isn't it? Sorry. Shall we wake her up now, Mr. Reardon? No, let her sleep. When do you want us to wake her up? Or another 3 days? Oh, how terrible I am. So that's what they said to her. So what the dentist did, the dentist, who was a woman apparently, a very nice lady, filed the tooth down so it was nice and smooth, so it was no longer cutting her tongue, and told her, we'll see how that goes and let us know what you want to do. But she said the root in the back of her mouth where it was broken wasn't bad or gone rotten or anything like that. So I'm not so sure, but I don't think she has to have the crown done. So I said to her, well, what are you going to do with the bit of gold? She said, oh, I'm going to give it to Tracy. Now, Tracy's her daughter, my niece. I said, well, why is that then? She said, oh, because I had that filling done when I was pregnant with her. An awful thing. Giving your child a gold filling. Because that's when she was pregnant with her. That's when she had the gold done. I think that's awful. What you going to do with a gold filling? Hang it round your neck? Oh, how dreadful. I told her to take it into somewhere and see if it's worth anything. It probably was, wouldn't it? Gold filling like that? Would that be worth something? I don't know. It might be worth 50 or 60 quid, mightn't it? $100 or so. I've no idea on the price of gold. That's got you thinking, isn't it? I wonder if we've got anyone watching at the moment who's a bit short of money and have suddenly realised, because I said that they've got a gold filling in their head. Go and get a pair of pliers out. Rip it out of your head and make some money with it, my darlings. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, eh? On a more serious note, wasn't it terrible? The years ago, of course, many years ago, when we had the what's it called now? The thing where all the poor Jewish people were killed by the Germans many years ago. What's that called now? The Holocaust. And I always have trouble saying it. Auschwitz, isn't it? Something like that. Where they trained all the Jewish people in, and they were all gassed. Terrible. And they had big, like, bits, or it always brings tears to my eyes talking about this, and they had areas in the camps where all these people had been murdered, And they had people's glasses, people's shoes, where the Germans had taken anything that's of value for them before they were gassed, or after they were gassed, I suppose. And in amongst that were gold fillings. Just awful. Awful, awful. And that's something we should never, ever forget. These people come out with these stories that it never happened. I mean, I don't know how you can even suggest that. Awful. Terrible, terrible thing. Anyway, any dental stories like that? I want to know about them. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. By the way, I'm wearing a checked shirt today. I have noticed that checks appear to be coming in, don't they? No, no, no. Not people from the Czech Republic. They're all coming over here as well. We've had the Polish so far, and I'm sure the Czechs are coming as well now. Yes, the doors are always open here in the UK. Please feel free to enter at will. Just come through the tunnel. There won't be anyone waiting for you at the other end. There's no welcoming party. No, checked shirts I'm talking about. Checked shirts appear to be making a bit of a comeback. I've noticed this certainly in some of the clubs that I work. Checked shirts are coming out. Have you noticed that? I'm so glad. I'm very pleased that that awful, awful fashion of those dreadful hats from where is it? Where are those those hats from Peru with those stupid long air bits on either side? They appear to now have gone completely out of fashion. I'm very, very happy with that. Oh, I did hate that back in the winter. Do you remember that? Oh, I hated that with a vengeance, those hats. Hats from Peru with like pigtails either side. Joe Morris from AmericanTalkUSA.com. Another podcaster, Joe Morris, AmericanTalkUSA.com. He sent me one of these pictures of him with one of those awful hats on, didn't you, Joe? Hey, dear me. By the way, love to your mother. Tell your mum I said hello, Joe. Hello, Joe. Hello, Joe. Huh? But the fashion at the moment appears to be coming back. These shirts. Oh, my mate Ron thought he was very fashionable the other day. Remember I went out with him a couple of days ago, wasn't it? And we went to Ed's Diner and had a massive burger. He thought it was very fashionable to wear a white beret. And I've never seen anything look so ridiculous in all my life. What is it with people's fashion that they think it looks really good? Although I have to say, boys and girls, I think it's very, very sexy with some of the lads who now wear their pants up out of their trousers and their trousers halfway down their bums. So there's no flesh revealed, but you see the pants. Oh, I think that's very sexy. I've tried it myself. I can't get the trousers to stay up. They just fall down as I'm walking along. How do you do that, lads? Are you one of these lads who walks around with his pants up and his trousers halfway down, revealing the top, 4 inches of his pants? How on earth do you keep those trousers up? Please tell me. It's a mystery to me, it really is. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is my email address. Now, if you're watching the show today on email, I have to say, I'm in the studio today, incidentally, not in the garden. But I've got a very large light behind me. And it's not a specialist video light or anything like that. I'll tell you what it is. It's a fluorescent work light. A great big thing it is. I suppose, let me see, how big is that? 1, 2... It's about a foot long and about 9 inches wide. And I'm trying that in the studio today because I'm looking at some of the old videos. And the one thing that we're a bit short of now is light, I think, in the studio. So I've tried that behind me. Now, when I was pointing it directly on my face, I noticed I looked rather ghost-like. That was like a ghost laugh instead. We want a chain. Have I got a chain here? 1 minute. No. We need ghost noises or something like that. Never mind. Yes, I look rather ghost-like. So what I've done now is pointed it upwards at the ceiling. So the light is now being reflected back off the ceiling and onto my pretty boy face. All right, so I don't know how that looks to you. It seems to look... Because I can actually see myself over there, which is not a pleasant thing, I have to say. Okay, so always trying to improve. If you ever got any suggestions, let us know. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right, what other news? Oh, looking forward to the new Harry Potter film coming soon. Harry Potter and... Is it the Half-Blood something? Well, is it the Half-Blood Prince? I don't know. I think it's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, something like that. So that film is coming out soon. Another one that I should be going to the cinema to see. I must say, when I first went to see the more recent Star Trek film, I did enjoy going at midnight on a Wednesday night. Now, Wednesday night I do a live radio show for someone else, and I finish that at 9 o'clock at night. And often, I think to myself, I'd like to go out now. Now, it's all very well jumping in the car and going to London. I could do that, but I don't want to. And I really enjoyed going out to the cinema when Star Trek came on in Bracknell, and they had a 12 o'clock showing. And it's a shame that they don't do that more often. Probably not their worthwhile doing it, because, I mean, when I went to see Star Trek, it was only about 25 of us in the cinema, to be honest. And was it hold? I don't know, 300, 350, something like that. It's a shame that, I'd like to go to a late night cinema. So there we are. That's coming up soon. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood. What else have happened to me this week? Oh, yes. When I did my show, the last show was in the garden. When I do a show in the garden, it involves a little bit of setting up. I've got to move a chair out there and what have you. Foolishly, it was quite a nice day that day. And after I finished the show, I brought all the equipment, the microphone and the camera and the sound recording device, all back up to the studio. Did me editing. And once that was done, off I went swimming. When I came back, foolishly, I'd left the chair out. And it didn't look like it was going to rain, and it had done. And this blooming chair got all wet. Isn't that annoying? Have you ever done that with your expensive garden furniture? Eh? You've left it out and it's got all wet? Terrible. Just going back there to Harry Potter, Half-Blood, the film there. Do you read the Harry Potter books? Or on a more wider scale, do you read at all? Because I find it very difficult to read a whole book. I quite like short stories. I've read the Ronald Dahl collection of short stories. I quite like his stories because there's always a bit of a twist at the end, isn't there? Something would happen that you don't expect to happen. And I've got this other book. Can I just go and get it? Because I want to talk about this. It's an American one. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'll be back in a second. Stay there. I'm back. I'm back. Back. There we are. Right. Oh, there we are. Right. Now, I am reading a big book, so to speak, a whole story. This is called No Time for Goodbye. Now, that's by Linwood Barclay. I'm just about into this, okay? I'm about, let's have a look, about halfway through at the moment. So I'm reading that, which is quite good. But as I say, with a large book, I do find it hard. I lose concentration very quickly. I'm afraid I can be a bit like that when I'm having a conversation with someone. My friend Anthony, I have annoyed him a couple of times where he's been chatting away and my mind just wanders. I don't know what that's called. It's short attention. I think I've got a very short attention span, which is not good, really, is it? It's not really, but I'm the same with books, and I find it very difficult to read a whole book. As I said, I've read the Ronald Dahl short stories of him, which are fantastic, really good. Really very much enjoyed those. And more recently, I've got this new book now, and I've read one that it's another short story book by an author, Donald. What is it? Donald what? Donald Barthelme. Donald Barthelme, Barthelme, and it's 60 stories, and he's got 60 stories in here. Now I've read, let me see, I've read 2.5 of these so far, and I'm finding it hard going, to be honest. I'm not quite sure what's going on in some of these in these 2 stories at all. Very, very hard to follow indeed. And I wondered, I know we have a lot of people watching and listening to the show who do read, don't you? And I wondered if you'd read anything by Donald was it again? Barthelme. Donald Barthelme, that's the story book. Have you read anything by him? And did you find it hard going? If so, let me know. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Now, I gather from this, I'm sure he's an American writer, and that may be the problem. Because I do sometimes also have a bit of a problem with American humour on the television. I don't quite get it. I don't like Friends or Frasier or anything. I can't stand it. Can't bear it. What do I like about American? Well, American programmes I do like. Oh, there's loads, hundreds of them. Star Trek, Dynasty, Dallas. I quite like the American news programmes like that Jay Letterman and Johnny Carson. I quite liked him. And who's the guy with the glasses who's on CNN, I think? Old bloke. He looks like he's about to peg out. I quite like him. Yeah, I like Oprah Winfrey. So, I do like American stuff. But the humour I just don't get sometimes. And this book, I'm having trouble getting it. I'll read another couple of stories. And if I can't get into those, I'll give up on that one. But I've also got another book of short stories here called Poe, Poe. Now, this is by various different authors. It says here Gregory Frost, Pat Cadogan, Sharon McCrum, Kim Newman, Lucas Shepherd, and more, it says. So there's a load of little stories there. All right, so I haven't started on that one yet, so I'll have a little look at that. And perhaps there is a book of short stories that you could recommend to me, or indeed all the listeners to United Kingdom Talk, because there's quite a few people read who listen and watch this show. Then let us know. Pass on the information, okay? Can you recommend a book of short stories? Let us know. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Right, time for something very important now, because we have a birthday, boys and girls. Oh, hang on, let me get my music ready. One minute. There we are. Music ready. There we are. We have a birthday. It is Motorised Millie's birthday today. Yes, indeed. Happy birthday, Millie. Now, Millie, sadly, you didn't inform me on how old you are. So I'm going to guess how old you are, Millie. 295. Is that a reasonable guess? 295 years old. Here we go. Are you ready to sing happy birthday to Millie? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Millie. Happy birthday to you. Ah, cheeky Millie. Happy birthday, my darling. And that little piece of piano, Happy Birthday, was played by one of our most loyal friends and listeners, Carl in Yorkshire. All right, Millie, I hope you have a nice birthday, darling. Do feel free to let me know if you do anything for your birthday. I don't anymore. You know, I think you go past a point and you don't care anymore. I certainly know my birthdays when I was younger, as a child, were always made special by my mum and dad. Mum and dads do that, don't they? Huh? And then I suppose in my later teenage years, you shun what they try and do for you. They you know, even at 18, they'd still go out and get the cake and try and make it a bit special. And you kind of push that away. Why do we do that? Why do we do that, eh? And I've mentioned this on the show so many times before. When a loved one passes over like that, and then all these things that you wish you'd never done and come back to hit you in the face time and time again. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, happy birthday, Millie. Let us know what you're going to do, okay? Now, I was going to tell you something else then. I can't remember what. No, it's gone out of my head now. Never mind, it's gone out of my head. Right, shall we do some emails now? Let's have a look. Oh, I think we will, yes. Email time, boys and girls. Yes. Have I got everything crossed out there? 1 second. I have to cross things out that I've talked about. Otherwise, I start rabbiting on about them again. Oh, hang on. No, I've remembered. Oh, yes. Those of you that watch the show, YouTube, Dailymotion, Current, or anything like that. Oh, my phone's ringing now.
Hello, this is Chris. Please leave a message on
Right, let's see what it is. Shall we see what it is? Oh, 1 minute. No, I can't be giving my number out on. 1 minute, let's see what it is. Oh, they've hung up. What a shame. What a shame. Thank you for calling. That's my private operator. There's a little lady that actually sits in the answer phone machine, isn't it? How clever's that? Yes, those of you that watch the show, I have now found a way of slightly, ever so slightly, reducing the quality of the video side of things. And the reason I've done that is because the file size is much, much smaller. Now, to explain to non-technical people that the smaller the file size, the easier it is for someone to watch at the other end. Now, the file size of the video shows was about 725 meg. We've now brought that down to about 320. And on the advice of people, when I asked you, when we did that long show a couple of weeks ago, with Mick, Voodoo Mick, excellent tarot card reader, who is incidentally a singer as well. He's a very good singer, actually. When we did that a while ago, I had to reduce the quality of that anyway to allow it to fit onto the thing. So that's what I'm doing now, and people were happy with the quality of it. So what we've done is reduce the quality slightly. The file size is now, you know, about half of what it was. So those of you that watch on YouTube and were having buffering difficulty, I'm hoping that that sorts a lot of that out, okay? So a lot easier to download the entire show now. And especially some of you in Australia. I know in Australia, your internet setup is slightly different there. And you have kind of a maximum amount you can download each month. I know this was true for Matty in Tasmania and Chris in Victoria. So hopefully with a smaller file size, you will find that you don't have so much of a problem with reaching your maximum download thing, okay? All right? We are here to try, always trying to improve, dear. Always trying to improve. Right, here we go then. Email time, boys and girls. First of all, some bits and pieces from Lisa here. Hello, Lisa. Sweet tea, my dear. Sweetie. Now, I think I mentioned on the last show that Lisa said she's put a video up, a YouTube video, where she was singing. Well, it's been removed, Lisa. And I had all intentions of playing that out. Where has your video gone, my love? It's gone. It's not there anymore. Why, Lisa? Don't you want us to hear your vocal singing talents? How do you know? See, you never know who's watching this, Lisa. Simon Cowell could be a regular viewer to this programme. You never know. Or Louis Walsh. Or my favourite, Sharon Osbourne. They could be regular listeners or viewers to this show. I think you've missed an opportunity there, my love. I do. So, where has your video gone, Lisa? You've taken it off, haven't you? Please put it back up, my love. Don't worry about the quality, for God's sake, dear. All right? And Lisa is a multi-talented person. She also writes poems. Okay? She writes poems. Now, if you want to see where the poems are, then I'll give you the address of them, but you'll have to go to my United Kingdom Talk website for that, okay? Go to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And look for the show dated Saturday, the 20th of June, 2009. And there you will see the link to Lisa's poems. Okay? Link to Lisa's poems. Once again, go to the main United Kingdom Talk website, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Look for the show dated Saturday, the 20th of June, 2009. And there you will see the link to Lisa's poems. And she's happy to share those. I've just picked one out of them. There were some quite long ones and there were some shorter ones. So here comes a short one so I can read this out for you. And she does say, as long as you are sure to give me my due credit for these poems, feel free to share them with others on and offline. Thank you sincerely, Lisa Ayres, Sweet Tea. Oh, Lisa. How about doing some YouTube videos with you just reading the poems? Lisa's Poetry Corner. I like it. Huh? Lisa's Poetry Corner. Yes. Here's one. From Lisa Ayres. Not quite alive, but still breathing and heart beating. Floating above the trees and down through the rooftops, seeing what is not obvious to the naked eye. I was temporarily lost, somewhere in between heaven and earth, between solid ground and the falling sky. Thank you, Lisa. Very nice, darling. And she's got a whole load of those. Once again, if you want to know where to find those, go to the main United Kingdom Talk website, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Look for the show dated the 20th of June, 2009. And there you will find the link to Lisa's poems. I won't give you the link out on the show here because it's quite a long... there's lots of dashes and words in there, and you're never going to remember them if I read them out now. So that's the best way to do it, okay? Thank you, Lisa. I wonder, actually... what other talents do people have who are joining in with a show 3 times a week? What do you do? Do you have a talent like that? And it doesn't have to be like anything to do with singing or reading or anything like that, or music. You may have another talent. Perhaps you're good in the garden. Do you think you're particularly good at something? Let us know, okay? Because we all need to know these things. You may be able to help someone one day. I may come on here in a couple of weeks' time and say, all my tomato plants have suddenly died. Why is that? Isn't it? And you may be able to help. What talents do you have? That's the question. Let me know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Of course, Susan, our cat lover, has a talent with looking after cats. She's not so good with cars, are you, Susan? I hope have you found one yet, my darling? Susan's looking for a car at the moment, aren't you? Let us know your talents. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Lisa always writes, I had trouble listening to your music podcast. Yes, I do a weekly non-stop DJ mix podcast. Now that is like around about an hour and 20 minutes of non-stop music going right the way through. It tends to be fairly light, pop, house, funky house sort of stuff. If you want to download one of those and have a little listen, please feel free to do so. The address for that one is chrisreardonshow.co.uk. chrisreardonshow.co.uk. There's a new one up there every week, usually on a Friday. And it is just non-stop music. There's no talking whatsoever. Just from beginning to end, non-stop music. A lot of people download this one for use in a gym. All right, or if they want something fairly upbeat. It's not slow. It's maybe we'll get a little sample. Hang on, shall I play you a little sample of one? 1 second. Let's find a little sample, and then you'll get the general idea. If I can find one now, let's have a look there. You never find these things when you want to, can you? Come on, where are you now? It's there somewhere. Oh, there it is. There's one. Right, hang on. Listen to this. Right. Can you hear that? That's the general bit. It's got singing on it. Hang on. Let's go forward a bit. There we are. Okay. So that's the kind of beat, and that goes right the way through the whole thing. Non-stop music. Give it a try. You might like that. It's all free. Fully licensed by the PRS. I have the license for that as well. It's actually, if we've got any DJs and that watching who do this sort of thing and they want to do it legally, it is not prohibitively expensive anymore here in the UK to actually purchase a license to make your own podcasts similar to that of music. It really isn't. Cost you about, I think it's something like about 120, 150 pounds for the year, something like that. And it's worth having the license. It really is, because then, you're safe. You haven't got to look over your shoulder or anything like that. Download one of those mixes and see if you like it, okay? chrisreardonshow.co.uk. chrisreardonshow.co.uk. Now, Lisa did try, and she says, I tried clicking on the pod icon, but it just acts like it's going to load the file, but it never really finishes doing so. Well, the reason for that, Lisa, is because it's quite a large file. It's about 50 meg. All right, so quite a large file. And you will find that it's not just if I'm putting a file up there, any large file, you will have the same thing happen. So the best thing to do is right-click on the file, okay, which in my case is next to where it says direct download, and then there's a date. Could be, I don't know, whatever, there, 11... Direct download 110609.mp3. You would right click on that and save as to somewhere on your computer, and then just save, and then just let it save. Let it save the whole thing before you try and play it. All right? I know, Lisa, not everyone has a 50 meg broadband like me, dear. Mine, it whooshes down the line. Whoosh! It whooshes down the line, Lisa. So I think that's what's happening there. You need to save it first, my darling. She says, I guess it may be that there is too big of a file size for my lower bandwidth broadband to handle, so it would take longer to load and play for me. Or it may be another glitch somewhere. No, it's probably because it's a big file and you need to download it first, my darling, okay? So right-click on there and save as to somewhere on your computer. If you don't know how to do that, email me back, Lisa, and I'll tell you exactly how to do that, all right? She says, I still get to enjoy your other shows. Maybe sometime soon you could share a little of your other gifts with us on YouTube. What do you mean? The Saturday shows, play a little music and do your smooth DJ voice. Smooth DJ voice, dear. Or maybe record a short while and play a sample of you doing your thing, Mr. DJ. That would be fun. Well, actually, the music podcasts I do are actually me recording part of one of my DJ sets at work. Okay, I don't sit here in the studio and do it. That music you hear has actually been played in a club and recorded, usually on a Thursday or a Friday night somewhere. So you are hearing that. All right. Now, I did used to do a music and chat show on a couple of stations here in the UK, and yes, it's quite fun to do. I would like to do a music and chat show again, but and indeed, my friend Terry Turner, who runs a radio station, wants me to do a live show for him, but unfortunately time is very restricting, you know, and I can't do it. Certainly not at the moment. I mean, I suppose I could do one less talk show a week, and then I could fit it in then. It's a possibility. It is a possibility. I don't know, Lisa. Anyway, thank you for your many, many letters of correspondence, my darlings. Always appreciated. The email address, if you haven't written before, come on. Get your pen out. It's Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. We were talking about Harry Potter, a film that Matty in Tasmania went to see recently. It's called Night at the Museum 2 with Ben Stiller. I don't know who he is. Who's Ben Stiller? Is he a famous actor? Because I'm not very good with celebrities, you know that. He said, it was a good movie from Matty. Night at the Museum 2. Is that a horror film, Matty? I have a feeling that's a horror film, is it? Night at the Museum 2. Oh, I like horror films. I think my favourite horror films were two very old ones starring Vincent... Was it Vincent Price or Peter Cushing? No, Vincent Price. And that was Dr. Phibes, Phibes, and the follow-up was Dr. Phibes Rises Again. I love that show. The film must be 40 years old now. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. See if you can get that. I'm sure it was out on DVD at one point. Okay, Dr. Phibes, Phibes, and Dr. Phibes Rises Again. I also have to tell you that I went to see Friday the 13th at the cinema, the first one, when it first came on. Oh, that was scary. That was scary, scary, scary. Sitting there in that dark cinema with all these bodies dropping down in front of you all the time. Dear, dear me. Anyone else see that? Friday the 13th. Matty, do you like horror films? I do. What was the other one? Halloween. I remember the tune. Do you remember that? Halloween. We love it. Carmel. Hello, Carmel. Up in Lincolnshire near my sister. Don't hear from you much anymore, Carmel. Am I not nice enough for you to write anymore? Have I upset you, dear? Tell me. Carmel says, on the subject of when we're talking about people ringing hospital bedside phones here in the UK and how you're ripped off. I mean, you are. It's like 39p a minute. Now, actually, I don't mind that too much. But what I object to is listening to 2 minutes worth of adverts before you get put through to someone. And of course, all the time it's costing you 39p a minute. It does annoy me. So we were talking about a few shows ago. Carmel says, I totally agree. It's a total joke. My mum was in hospital once and she's in London and I'm in Lincolnshire. So the bedside phone was a great idea. But when I got my phone bill, I needed a bank loan to pay for it. And as for paying for the car park, say no more. Yeah. Here in the UK, we also, I think in not all, but most hospitals, actually, is it in Scotland? I think there's either Scotland or Wales, they don't have to pay for this. But certainly here in England, we have to pay to use car parks in hospitals. And it's not 50 pence. You know, it is quite expensive. It's not so bad. You see, I don't think they think this through. It's not so bad if you're only visiting someone and they're only in hospital for a couple of days. But when you get people in hospitals long term, that's when it starts to add up. You know, we could be paying £6, £7, £10 a day just to go and visit someone in hospital. It's shocking. But on the other hand, the hospitals are desperately trying to make the money from somewhere. So, you know, what do you do with all these hospitals that need cash to survive? Right, one more email today and then we'll be done. And this is from my friend Tamsin in Brighton. Hello, Tamsin. Oh, this lady, I worked with her many, many times. She is wonderful, Tamsin. She works with a very famous drag act called Dave Lynn. You might have seen him in Beautiful Stranger and a few other bits on the telly. However, a lovely person to work with, Dave Lynn. Really nice person. I'm looking at the clock there because I'm running out of time. She says, "Hi, Chris, just been listening to your show, and you were talking about hospital phones. It really made me laugh, and it's so true, the amount you have to pay. Hope you have a good weekend. See you soon." And that's from Tamsin, yes. And I hope to see you soon as well, Tamsin. It's always a pleasure to work with you. Tamsin, she's the one that keeps bringing me chocolate biscuits and things like that when I'm at work, aren't you? But I've replaced the biscuits with grapes, and I think the weight has started to come off. That's it from me today. As always, thanks for joining me. Do join in by email. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and listening. See you on the next show. Bye-bye.